What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching The Road to Beast Wars. This is just a web series where we're talking about the production of Transformers Rise of the Beast. This is episode number 19, and we're going to jump right into it. And we are going to take a look at this photo. It's actually a screenshot or a screen cap of Anthony Ramos's latest post on his Instagram account. And basically, he is celebrating with Dominique Fishback that filming in Montreal, Quebec has wrapped. They are done, and which is really crazy because it felt like that went by so fast. Filming took place in June, so June, July, August. It's now September, or actually the September 3rd to be exact, and they are done. And for us, it doesn't look like they filmed a whole lot because we're so used to seeing, you know, the Michael Bay productions where there's like cars everywhere, there's explosions everywhere, and lots of gunfire everywhere. So we're so used to that. This is very different. I never once saw any military personnel. I didn't see any. I saw one car chase, and you know, when Michael Bay goes out and films, it's you know, it's everywhere. It's all over the streets. You can totally see it. But maybe they're doing a really good job in hiding to production. I really hope they are. And obviously, it's done. We cannot assume what they have or have not filmed. Okay, but they're done, and they are moving on to Peru. They're going to Cuzco, Peru, and going to be filming at various sites in Peru, including Machu Picchu. So that's going to be really, really exciting. I'd love to move on and give a big shout out to Louis S. Monzon, who shared with me this photo of, now this is in Peru actually, and he was asking me, hey, who do you think that is behind, like that's wrapped in paper? Well, that's Optimus Prime. Check out the shape of the front frame, the grill guard. It's right there, and check that out. Like you see the wheels. You also see the shape of it, and not only that, what's really interesting is that this truck is not being transported by a car carrier or a trailer. Like, it's not on top of a trailer. What it is that there's a driver in that truck, and he's driving with it wrapped. So that's how they're moving it from point A to point B. So there's going to be a truck that's all wrapped up, driving around. It's all white, but we know that's Optimus Prime. But I guess to non-fans, they don't know. But anyways, Optimus Prime has moved on to filming in Peru. And it's going to be really, really exciting. Of course, Dominique Fishback and Anthony Ramos are going to meet him there. As far as I know, it's a 4-day shoot. According to the last report that I made in the previous episode, I read on TFW2005.com that it's only going to be a 4-day shoot. But maybe it's 4-day shoot with the actors, and then the rest of the sequence is actually going to be much longer without the actors. Like, basically, they're going to shoot all the actor scenes first, and then they're done. Like, you know, there's no point in keeping them around when they're not actually shooting them. So that's probably what's happening. Anyways, Optimus Prime has made his way to Peru. The curious thing is, who else is going to make their way to Peru, okay? So let's move on. And I don't really have much to talk about at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just address some of your comments from the previous video. So in no particular order, we got Late Night Purge. He says, my question is, where are the Decepticons at, man? I thought they were in this movie too. And, you know, that's a really good question. I don't have the answer for you, but I can theorize that I think the Decepticons will have very little screen time. Maybe they're just flying around in space. Maybe they're just only in robot form in another part of the wherever they are filming. And it doesn't require them to transform into vehicle modes. Like, it doesn't require them to transform into the alt modes. So maybe they're only seen in robot mode, and they don't want to put the focus or emphasis on them. They're there, but, you know, second unit might only need to film them because there's no real human performers performing around them, right? So who knows? Next up is watch Alex hype this movie up again, and it turns out being worse than TF5 lol. You know, I won't say that's not possible. I won't say that that's impossible. It could happen. It could be like, you know, I'm hyping this up like the previous films and it ends up being trash. Like, that's highly possible. I think it's, actually, no, I want to say that it is possible, but I don't think it's highly possible. Transformers Last Night was it was steaming, okay? And I think it's mostly because that Michael Bay knew that it was his last ride and he just wanted to do what he wanted to do, okay? And you had two writers working with another writer that typically doesn't work with these two writers, so you got a lot going on there, okay? Now, this one, it's directed by Stephen Cable Jr., who directed Creed 2, and he did a great job following up with a worthy sequel. And to top things off, the one thing that really means a lot to me is that, or the most important thing is that he's actually a fan of Transformers, the cartoons. He's a fan of Beast Wars. Michael Bay, on the other hand, is not a fan of anything. So, it makes a huge difference. And to top things off, there's G1 inspirations in this. DCR Studios says, I think that the action was recorded on a studio like Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, and in the first Transformers movie, where a lot of scenes that took place in a fake street combined with real city shots. That's highly possible. A lot of this stuff definitely took place behind, like in a sound stage. So I'm pretty positive that you're correct about that, because it doesn't always have to take place on in the streets. It could definitely be filmed on a lot for a lot of the action. So that's there's a lot of truth to that. DJ Navarro says, I can't wait to see Optimus roll out with the Autobots, especially with Mirage, because I think Optimus and Mirage would be an interesting pair up. Are we going to see RC? Because I want to see her. I'm sure we're going to see RC. They announced her unless she's not actually in it, and they just put out some misinformation. So that's the only reason why we wouldn't see RC. But I'm just surprised that we didn't even see a motorcycle, like a Ducati, like a pink Ducati. That's really easy to spot. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that she wasn't even part of a car chase. So we'll find out. We'll find out when we watch the actual movie, and then we see the toys, and the concept art. That'll confirm if she's actually in this. But they did announce it, so I'm just gonna go with that. Squiddy says, what I want to know is, where's Nightbird? We've seen absolutely no pictures of her, and I'm starting to think she won't even transform in the movie. That's the same thing I feel about RC, is that, or rather, my same comment applies to that, and that is, we haven't seen a whole lot of anybody, to be completely honest. What is going on here? How are they able to keep this film under wraps so much that we can't even see any of the main characters in this film? Main robot characters like Nightbird and RC. Like, it's so interesting that they're able to pull that off, considering that when in the previous even 5 films, even 6, even the Bumblebee film, like, we were still able to see what's his name, Shatter and Dropkick rolling around, right? So this is a very interesting production. I think that they're doing a really good job with keeping it under wraps. So yeah. Taskmaster, you didn't mention the disco ball and Bumblebee hanging in the car of Bumblebee. So yeah, I after reading this comment, thanks for pointing that out. I did notice it afterwards, after you mentioned it. The air freshener and this disco ball are there. So yes, there is continuity to the previous film, which is Bumblebee, and of course Bumblebee has continuity to the films before that. So yes, there is continuity there. Does it matter to me? No, it doesn't. I'm going to treat this as a standalone film. I'm going to treat it as a reboot, just like how Bumblebee is a reboot. This film is a continuation to Bumblebee, and that's all that matters. To me, it's disconnected from the Michael Bay films. That's how I feel about it. Infinity YouTuber says, I'm still very excited for this film. I'm just a little disappointed that they barely gave Bumblebee any screen time. They might as well make him the deceased Cybertronian. Not that I want that. I think it's too early to be disappointed in this film. You haven't seen a teaser, you haven't seen a trailer, you haven't seen anything. We just didn't see Bumblebee in a lot of the filming. That doesn't mean that he's not in it. It doesn't mean that he's not in it with little screen time. It was talked about that this is an Optimus and Bumblebee buddy movie. That's what they're going with. That's pretty much the the foundation for this film. So I think that you've seen nothing yet. So it's not a good idea to assume that he's not really in it, when in fact that it's possible that he's just in a lot of robot mode scenes. So not a lot of him rolling out. But like I said before, just like with RC and Nightbird, it's highly possible that they filmed a lot of stuff that we weren't able to see. I mean, it is 2021 now, so they can still really do a good job in recreating moments or scenes rather, without having someone film it. So that's highly possible. And finally, this is the last question, or rather comment. Smokescreen says, my question is about the cave. Why couldn't they go to an actual mountain that has an actual cave and use that instead of using a fake cave using blue screens? So I don't know about the geography of Quebec, okay? I'm pretty sure there's not that many mountains there. And to top things off, they needed to create this because they need to interact with it. They're putting there's like this extraterrestrial door in that man-made cave that they designed. So they have to interact with it. They need to go in and out of it. And who knows, maybe there's going to be explosions or something like that, or some kind of big action. So it's probably not a good idea to have that happen, at a natural environment. The last time Michael Bay did something like that in Revenge of the Fallen, they blew up a bunch of trees. They had to replant the trees, so that's an added cost. So it's not. I think it's more cost effective and more efficient in general just to build it themselves, so they can do whatever they want with it. After all, they have the budget and they have the space. They have that giant lot that we've seen with the drones that was flown by Transformers alt modes. So I think it's a great idea because it gives them more free reign of what they can do in that area. If you do it in a natural environment, in their location where they're filming at, there's a lot of red tape they have to go through. They might not be allowed to do this and that. So yeah, I mean, of course it looks better if it's filmed there, but there's a lot you can and can't do. All right. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to see what they're going to end up filming in Peru, but there's a feeling that I'm getting that we're not even going to be able to see much, except for maybe some official stills from the production themselves, because a lot of times when they go out to these big finale shoots, like for example, Egypt or Jordan in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and also Iceland or Norway in Transformers The Last Night. We didn't get to see a whole lot because it's out there. It's not in the middle of the city, right? So it's highly possible that we won't get to see a whole lot unless one of the PAs, and by that I mean production assistants, gets a secret footage out there. So but that can get them fired or in trouble, so they you wouldn't want to do that. Anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing all the Peru footage, if there is any at all. But after that, once they've done wrapped filming, it's concept art time, it's toy fair time, it's teaser, marketing time, so stay tuned for that. There's a lot to talk about, and that's all I gotta say in this episode. Hopefully we'll get another update soon, okay? Anyways, thanks for watching. My name is Alex Yu, and I'll see you next time. Peace.